Oh, I forgot. I broke a nail yesterday. Look at that. I don't know if you can see. It's totally out of focus, but there's like a chunk missing. Sorry. Hey, internet. I actually have an idea for this video before I'm starting making it. What? I don't ever do that. It's crazy planning and stuff, right? Yeah. Lur for nerderd. Alright, so one of my favorite things to do in the summery, warmish months is to sit outside on my trampoline or on a chair, depending on my mood, and read in a good old book. And I know that a lot of people aren't really into the whole reading thing. However, in case you maybe are looking for something to do with your time and would like to maybe read something because you don't read a lot and think maybe you should more, I decided I would recommend to you this massive stack over here off screen of books that are some of my favorites and hopefully you will enjoy. And in no particular order, let's go. The Hobbit. If you don't know what this is, I don't know where you've been living for the past, 50 years, because that's how old this book is, if not older than that. But it's the prequel-ish, kind of, to The Lord of the Rings, and it's classic J.R.R. Tolkien hobbits and elves and dwarves and dragons and adventure, and it's really good. And it's also like the first book I got addicted to. I read it like 9 times before I was in 6th grade. That's how good it is. Artemis Fowl. What is it? It's about a boy criminal mastermind. He's like 12 years old, lives in Ireland. His family got a lot of money from being criminals, then they all lost it. So in order to win back all of his family's monies, he decides to kidnap a fairy, yes, a fairy, and ransom it for gold. It sounds absurd, but it's very, very entertaining, and there's like 8 books in the series, and they're all great, and you should read them. Till We Have Faces, A Myth Retold. Now, I don't know that I would say that this is my favorite book on this list. However, I will say it is the most important book on this list that I have read. It is based on the Greek myth of Cupid and Psyche, except he retold it and threw in all of these just fantastic philosophical and theological points, and it is just rip your heart and brain open and make you rethink a whole lot of things. And it's a little intellectual, but it's surprisingly well written for that kind of book, and it's a very engaging story. And seriously, if you haven't read it or probably haven't even heard of it, check it out from the library, get it, it's a book pun, and you will enjoy it. You may not understand everything that happens to most people on the first read through, but you know, you can look things up on the internet and figure it out. Percy Jackson and the Olympians, The Lightning Thief. Now consider this a blanket recommendation for everything that Riordan has ever written. That includes the Kane Chronicles and the Lost Heroes and the Percy Jackson and whatever else he may write in the future, because this dude excels at taking so much mythology and packing it into these books in very accessible chunks, but still like educating kids about Greek history and Egyptian history and all that. And they're very entertaining and surprisingly funny and heartfelt and adventurous. And if you like Greek mythology at all, which I absolutely love, as you know, obviously I say it like 8,000 times, give these books a little read-o. They're pretty short and they're written for like 8-year-olds, so you can read them in a solid 3 hours. The Giver, soon to be a major motion picture. Not sure how I feel about that, but it's like the very first teen dystopia novel before every novel that came out was teen dystopia. But it's so much better than all of those, and it's got a lot of philosophical points to make. If you haven't caught on, I like books that do that. And it is super short, so you could probably read it in an afternoon, and then your mind will explode with wonderment and sadness at the ending, because it's really good. And the rest of the series is okay. I would recommend reading it, but you don't have to. Just read the first one. It's fantastic. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Without a doubt, the most grown-up book on this list, not in a bad way. It's just kind of depressing, but also very witty, and tells the story of a man named Arthur Dent. After the world is blown up, like the planet is exploded, and then he has to travel through space, essentially trying to find any kind of meaning or purpose in a seemingly completely random universe. And they're really good and pretty funny, and you should totally read them if you like space/British humor. Not space humor, space/British humor. Does that make sense? Finally, the book that I have read absolutely more times than any other book in my life, 19 times at last count, it's Eragon. And it's a book about a boy and a dragon and a world of adventure, because that's what the flap inside the book actually says, is one boy, one dragon, and a world of adventure. And it's essentially kind of this generation's answer to Tolkien, except it's not nearly that good. But it's a very well-developed fantasy world and really long books with a lot of detail that some people consider unnecessary, but I tend to enjoy, and lots of convoluted plot threads and relationships and adventure and excitement and cool magical spells and dragons and fights and swords and destiny and elves and an ancient language that I used to be able to speak because I'm a loser like that. And it's just a fantastic book, and you should read The Inheritance Cycle by Christopher Paolini. And that is all for that. Let me know down in the commente section, what is your favorite book to read on a delightfully sunny summer afternoon? And if you have nothing else to do, why not read one of these? Let me know what you think. Until next week, deuces.